What up, guys? It's your boy Forever One Wheel. We're back at it again with another video. Sorry it's been a while since I've uploaded. Today we're gonna be rebuilding a front end for the Road Glide. So as you guys know, I'm converting this 41mm Road Glide into a 49mm Road Glide, just like the dyno over here. So basically the same front end is going to be on the Road Glide. So it's substantially a taller setup, which is what I was looking for. Actually told to go this route by Big Bear Choppers. So that's what we're going to do with this Glide. That way, you know, we can just get a higher stance in the front, or more travel per se. And then I'm just going to sell this front end and probably just keep the Axeo because we'll run that with the new stuff. What I'm using here is I got some 49mm touring fork sliders that I bought off Facebook Marketplace. Actually, I had a buddy pick these up in Montreal for me for $50. And then I just got them powder coated. These are off a 2014 49mm touring. I believe that's the first year they went 49mm. So you're gonna need that. You're gonna need your 49mm Legends suspension, which I got here. And then the fork tube length that I went with, it's basically the same as a stock dyno, so it's 25.5 length. That's what I was told to go. We also have our brand new seals here. And here I believe we have got our bushing kits, everything like that. So you're gonna need 2 of those, plus 2 sets of seals, plus these things. I forget what they're called. Something to keep your bike from bottoming out though. These go on the end of your Legend suspension. Sticker pack's always nice. And you're gonna need fork oil. So typically it's one of these per side, I think. Actually, it might be even less because I think it's almost a full one of these for the stock setup, but I think with Legends it might be less because obviously you still need an air gap and you have all this stuff in there. So for that, I usually like to use my scale just to get accurate amount of fluid, because I don't really have a measuring tool to measure the fluid. And then you're going to need a impact Allen set and an impact gun. So yeah, we're gonna get started on what to do next. After that's all said and done, basically you just want to clean these up, make sure they're good to go. And once that's done, you're also gonna have to set your preload on your Legends. So mine is set to, I think, 2 turns right now because I am 250 pounds. So, and I want a little bit of a stiffer front setup because heavier bike than the dyno. So I'm going to need something so I don't get as much fork dive. So I believe mine are set for 2 turns. If you're less than that, set it to 1 turn. These tubes, I don't know if I mentioned, but they are the DLC black from original Garage Moto. They look like they're pretty good quality, so we'll see how long the coating on these lasts, because they usually like to go bad after a while. But I mean, they're pretty cheap. They're only $600 as opposed to $1,000 that I spent for the other black set, because I went with Pro 1 Performance before. You're gonna need a 49mm fork slider. This one's 50 to 49, I believe. It's a Race Tech one I bought a few years ago, but it works really well. That's gonna be to drive in all your seals, your bushings, etc. So I'll show you that shortly. Ideally, you'd want to wear gloves, some rubber gloves for this job, because you're dealing with a lot of oil. Alright, so now that we have everything cleaned up, ready to go, we are going to take our bushing kits here. I don't know if you guys can see that, if you need a part number or not. But, yeah. So, this is going to come with right here is basically everything you need to reassemble. So there's a couple things you probably won't use. One, you won't need this O-ring because there's already one on your Legends. But if you didn't have one of those, then yeah, you would need that. You're gonna need the 2 bushings. So one of them is thinner, the other one's a little wider. You're gonna need those two. You're gonna need the bolt with the copper washer on it. It goes just like that. You're gonna need your washer, forget what it's called, retaining, no, this is the retaining clip. That's the washer. So yeah, the two things you're not gonna need out of this clip is this little plastic thing and the black O-ring. You don't need those. So set some things up. So bolt, washer, clip, don't need those. What we're gonna do now is we're going to take our fork tube and we're gonna put our first bushing on. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take the thicker one. So as you can see side by side, there is a thicker one, there's a thinner one. Also note, the thinner one will have the Teflon on the inside versus the thicker one will have the Teflon on the outside. So that actually goes right into the groove here on the bottom of your fork tube. Take your fork seal, or sorry, not fork seal. Take your first bushing, and as you can see, it's got a little split in it, so it splits wide open. And then you just slide it on till it seats perfectly. And as you can see, you hear that click. Now you can see it's seated in the groove of the fork tube. So we're just gonna do that for both. So we'll take our other thick one. Let's run a little bit on the inside. Same thing. Slide it in until it gets nice and seated. You'll hear it click. We're gonna take thinner ones. We're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna put some oil on those. And those are going to slide on the top all the way down. Take our oil again, lube our finger up, put it on the inside of the Teflon, slide those on the top here. Just take the tube, slide it over, boom, on the top. You're gonna take your two washers, and what you want to do with these is you're going to see one side is beveled and the other side is completely flat. You want to do flat to the top, so those are going to slide on the tubes as well, all the way down. Flat side up. Apparently that creates a better seal. So as you can see, that's our setup now so far. We got thick washer, thin washer, then our ring washer that goes on top. You're gonna grab your fork lowers and we are going to connect everything together. Make sure you lube up everything. Lube up these O-rings on the top of the Legends cartridges here so you don't pinch them or anything like that, right? Is insert the Legends into the fork tube right here. One thing I forgot to tell you guys, also before you put the Legends into the fork tube, make sure you put your top out spring over that section right there. Your fork tube, take one of our Legends, you're gonna go in just like that. Out the bottom, twist the Legend on just by hand for now. So we're gonna toss this on now, just like that, at the end. Our lower fork tube, sorry. And everything's just gonna go into here. And just do it nice and slowly. Everything should just seat nicely. We're gonna take our seal driver right here. Drop that in. So as you can see, hopefully with the light that I'm holding here, everything is seated in there with the fork seal driver. So yeah, basically you don't have to put a lot of force. Everything will seat itself in there. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna thread our bolt in the bottom here. So we're gonna take our bolt. What I like to do first is thread it by hand. Make sure your copper washer is on that. So we're going to take it, make sure everything's in there, throw the bolt in, start threading it. Once you get close, it's pretty much finger tight. Then we're going to take her to impact, give her a good torque. Okay, that honestly should be good enough. So, I'm going to do the same thing with the other one now. I'm going to get our fork lower. I'm going to take a little bit of lube now. Fork oil, by the way I'm using 20 weight for this. Lube everything up in here so it slides in nicely. We're going to take legend suspension, throw it in. Tighten it by hand. Take your fork lower, make sure it's clean. Don't forget your little, same thing. Slide everything in, nice and smooth. Okay, should all just go in nicely. Make sure everything's seated. Take your 12 mil. You don't need to put any Loctite on this, nothing like that. This seals in with the copper washer, so you should be good. And I'm just going to throw this in the bottom for now, hand tight. So, alright, so you got fork seals right here. These right here kind of look like they're conical at the top. They are going to be your top ones. These other ones right here, they look more flat on both sides. These are going to be your bottom ones that go inside. So with these, what I like to do, throw a little lube on these bad boys so nothing gets cut or nicked. Otherwise you're going to have fork seal leaks. Numbers always go to the top. So whatever side has the numbers, that's the side you put into the top. This part is extremely delicate. Make sure you don't nick it on anything. So go over nice and smooth. A lot of people like to put electrical tape. I just throw them on there slowly and try to seat it in there. Take our fork seal driver again, same thing. Drive that in till it goes past that ring. So now what we're going to do is throw our retaining clips on the top. Now we put the ring on it just to lock it in place. So that's seated in there. So if that seats in there properly, you know you drove your fork seal deep enough. Now we're going to take the top one, same thing, slide it down. Boom. This one you can usually force on, but if not, seal driver it is, buddy. So we're going to do the same thing to the other side. Set this aside for now. Alright, it should be seated. The retaining clip. Take your top one again. So now what we're going to do is we're going to fill them with oil. So this is where I grab my scale. 06 Dyna, which is 49 millimeter, 12.5 ounces of oil. Fluid ounces, 0, 12.5, this bad boy. Fill her up till she's 12.5. .4, a little bit more. There we go. I'm going to loosen this up at the top. And we are going to pour our 20 weight fork oil in. So what I like to do is completely loosen at the top, drop it just a little bit, and slowly start pouring the oil in. So as we pour the oil in, we're also going to have to get all the air out of the tube. So we're just going to fill up a little by little, try not to overdo it. So we fill it up a bit, cycle the pipe a little bit, a couple times, pour some more in. Basically what we're trying to do is just trying to get the oil in all the pores of the suspension while getting all the air out. Honestly, if you just follow the install guide, it's pretty fucking easy. I'm just making this video for educational purposes and because I like doing it. You know, half you watching this probably might already know how to do this. So yeah, we're just going to torque wrench the top to 25 foot-pounds, and that's basically how you rebuild your 49mm forks. And that is it, ladies and gents. So yeah, that'll be getting slapped on there as soon as I get a different triple tree. But it's honestly simple. Like you could do this. You could teach a monkey to do this probably. Honestly, do I recommend taking it to a shop if you don't feel comfortable? Sure, why not? But if you can actually do this yourself, you're saving yourself labor, which you could spend on more bike parts, which means you're probably going to be happier later down the road, and you'll learn how to do something on your bike. These Harleys are not really that hard to wrench on, so all you got to do is just kind of pay attention to what you're doing, and that's it. You're good to go. Thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully in the next video we'll do an install on the triple tree when I get that. And yeah, that's all she wrote. See you later. Thanks for coming out.